Okay, so let's just jump right in. Does it ever feel like your AI marketing strategy is just stuck? Kind of in a loop, just churning out generic blog posts? Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dig into a pretty contrarian view on why so many of these AI tactics are actually failing and what the future of marketing really looks like. And spoiler alert, it's a huge shift from AI as a simple assistant to AI as an autonomous agent.
Yeah, and this quote, it just nails the core problem, right? The thing is, we all have access to these crazy powerful tools now, and that has created this incredible sameness in everything we do. So when your AI-generated content looks and sounds exactly like everybody else's, you're not cutting through the noise, you're just becoming the noise. And the financial fallout from this sameness is way bigger than most people think.
And that leads to this. A whopping 95% of enterprise generative AI projects fail to deliver any financial return on investment. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The vast majority of companies pouring money into these tools are seeing absolutely nothing back. This isn't just a few bad projects, it's a systemic failure in the whole approach.
So this failure to get any real money back, it brings us to what we're calling the AI sameness trap, and it's creating a mind-boggling $107 billion ROI gap. The industry is projected to hit that massive number by 2028, but most companies are on the wrong side of it. Basically, they're buying into the hype, but they have no playbook to actually make money from it.
So here's the absolute key, and it's so important. The problem isn't the technology. We have more data, more powerful models than we've ever dreamed of. The real mistake is in how we're using them. Most marketers are treating these incredible systems like a super fast intern. Hey, go write a blog post, or hey, summarize this for me. That's not it. That is not where the real power is.
So, how do we get out of this trap? Well, it means we have to fundamentally change our strategy. It's a core shift in how we even think about AI. We've got to move past this old assistant model we're so used to and start embracing the much more powerful agent model. And just to be clear, this is not just a new buzzword. It is a completely different way of working.
And this slide really breaks it down, right? On one side, you've got assistive AI. It's passive. It just waits for you to give it a prompt. It's that high-speed intern again. But on the other side, that's agentic AI. It's proactive. It's goal-oriented. You don't give it a to-do list, you give it a mission. It's not an intern, it's an orchestrator.
Okay, so what does an agentic workflow actually look like in the real world? Well, think of it like this. Instead of asking AI, hey, give me some ideas to reduce cart abandonment, you just give it the goal. AI, reduce cart abandonment by 5%. And then it just goes. It digs into the data, finds the friction points, drafts new copy, runs A/B tests, and it does it all on its own. The huge difference is that it owns the outcome. You're not micromanaging the tasks. And this is where it gets really wild. The most advanced marketers out there, they're not just using a single AI tool. They're building what you could call agent factories. Think of it like a team of specialized AIs all working together. You might have one agent watching for new trends, and it tells another agent to automatically spin up a new ad campaign based on what it finds. That's the future right there.
Okay, so this whole agentic shift has massive implications for something we all care about, getting seen online. The old rules for SEO and content, they're getting totally rewritten. Just using AI to churn out more generic stuff faster is a guaranteed way to lose on what we're calling the 2026 web.
So here's the cold, hard truth of why most AI content isn't ranking. Google's got this thing called a difference engine. It scans your article, and if it sees that it's basically 98% the same as a million other articles already out there, boom, it gets buried. Google is literally hunting for what's new, not for what's just a rehash. And that brings us to a super important new rule of thumb, the 15% rule. To rank and actually provide value now, your content has to contain at least 15% unique insight. And unique can mean your own data, a really contrarian take on a topic, or what Google calls information gain. You have to bring something new to the table, period. And if you need a reminder of how high the stakes are, just look at this. People are getting crushed because they're still obsessed with old school stuff like keyword stuffing. The new game is all about entity authority. It's not enough to have the right words on your page. Google needs to see your entire brand as a credible expert on a subject. You're not just optimizing a page anymore. You're building a reputation. All right, so we've talked about content, but this goes way, way deeper. It's changing the entire user experience. We're heading towards a web that's no longer static. Imagine a web page that literally rearranges itself in real time just for you based on what the AI thinks you need in that exact moment. But
this is where it gets a little tricky, right? It raises a huge question. Where's the line between being super helpful and just being super creepy? It is a very fine line, and if you cross it, you completely shatter trust with your users.
So what's the secret to getting this right? Well, the key is to make the technology invisible. I mean, AI can predict what you want with something like 80% accuracy, which is just insane. But you don't brag about it. Look at Verizon. They didn't run a big campaign about their fancy AI. Nope. They just use it behind the scenes to make their customer support 4 times faster. The tech isn't the star of the show, the better experiences.
Okay, so all of this brings us to the new playbook. How do you actually do this stuff and put it into practice? It really boils down to this. Stop worrying about writing the perfect prompt. That's not the game anymore. The game is building smart, resilient AI systems. And a huge part of building a good system is knowing which tool to use for which job, because they are definitely not interchangeable. So if you need something that really nails your brand voice and doesn't sound like a robot, Claude 3.5 Sonnet is amazing. If you've got a giant spreadsheet of customer data to sift through, Gemini 1.5 Pro is your workhorse. And if you're just trying to build something fast and connected to everything, well, ChatGPT is still the king of.
But, and this is a huge but, before you even think about any of that, you have to get your foundation right. This means being data first. You've got to audit everything, your tracking, your data, all of it. Seriously. Because if your data is garbage, AI isn't going to fix it. It'll just help you make the same mistakes, only way, way faster.
And really, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. The winners in this new era aren't going to be the prompt engineering wizards. They're going to be the architects, the people who can design and build the most effective, integrated, and autonomous systems of AI agents.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. Think about your own day-to-day work. What's the one task, the one thing that you are most hesitant or even afraid to hand over to an AI agent? Because if this analysis is right, that's probably the exact place where automation is going to give you the biggest win. Definitely something to think about.